love, love, and third eye vibrations. What's going on with y'all, man? Hey, look, let's turn it up a little bit, y'all. In the last video, I talked to y'all about how to maintain a free mind in a controlled society. In this video, I'm gonna talk to y'all about how to maintain a free mind in a controlled society. Now, one of the first things you should understand about any functioning way of humans to live and go about their day-to-day ways and traditions, behaviors, actions, thoughts, speech that is familiar, right? This is culture. Now we have thousands, millions, billions of cultures throughout this world. You have to understand that the idea of culture is simply an illusion. The idea of culture is maintained through the control of speech and is maintained through authority. The authority figure has to have you in place and being under the mindset that we are under and we look up and we obey to the authority and the customs of the culture. Culture is not a real thing. So anyone who steps outside of the culture or doesn't live and vibrate within the guidelines of the culture is subject to be ostracized, subject to be condemned, looked at negatively from simply standing out and not going within the guidelines of the societal construct. So a lot of y'all may be confused at times when you're not understood, confused at times when people just don't like you. Even times in which you may rub someone the wrong way. Now, of course, rubbing people the wrong way, 9 times out of 10, you should be pointing at your shadow. But at the same time, understanding that most people in America specifically are deeply under the talons of culture, the claws of culture, from sports to news to politics to your job to the economy that runs and functions off of the people's listening to it. If everyone was to stop paying their bills right now, all of this shit would end. Now, it would be very different in America, which is only a third world country disguised as a first world country. But it would look very different if all, let's say, utilities and water and things of that nature were to just stop, right? A lot of people wouldn't know what to do with themselves. A lot of people wouldn't know how to survive without the first world luxuries and amenities that we've been granted. Now, to keep perspective in your sight, it always benefits you to understand that most of your problems are first world problems. Most of the things that you're complaining about, most of the things that you're upset that you don't possess in the moment, it is probably derived from comparing your life to another's life. And of course, we all know that comparison is the thief of joy. Comparison is the thing that will rob you of your gratitude and your love and acceptance for the things that you do have. You're constantly brainwashed and constantly flooded with images of luxury items and things that you feel you need before you can be a certain way or maintain a certain sense of freedom, sense of peace, i.e. money, i.e. the term financial freedom is a big one. But the cars, the clothes, the this, the that, when I was young, my mom used to always say, you trying to keep up with the Joneses, because I might have wanted some new clothes. I was never really too big on Jordans and shit, but I definitely probably wanted the latest Hollister and Abercrombie and Fitch hoodies and skinny jeans. But my mom would say, "You trying to keep up with the Joneses?" I was like, "I ain't trying to hear that, Mom. I'm trying to look cool." Now, trying to look cool is even another thing that is somewhat of a mind fuck, because you're trying to look a way that you know is going to be perceived as acceptable. You know that you're going to receive some praise for presenting yourself in this way. And again, there's nothing wrong with participating in these things. As y'all could see with me throughout the years, I'm quite cultural, but I also understand that it's all an illusion. It's all a man-made, fictitious idea of what is right and what is acceptable and what is going to grant you certain things in this world, certain energies, certain people, certain vibrations, certain circumstances, all by appeasing and aligning with this frequency. Now, where this inevitably goes left is that all people were raised different. All people have a different mind and a different perspective. So once you find yourself in these huge congregations of cultural people, most people think it's ego that they're surrounded by, but ego and spirit, the amount of ego that an individual has is mirrored by their amount of spirit that they possess or wield within. The amount of spirit that they have to pull from, and the same thing can be said for a free-spirited person. They've 9 times out of 10 had to go through a lot of the hard shadow work and reflections to maintain that level of peace and freedom of spirit, but never deny or never forget that it's going to be backed by that same polar scale of ego, of egoic belief, of egoic agreement within the mind of who the fuck they are and what the fuck they know. So don't be naive in this world. Don't think that just because someone is arrogant and that it's all egotistical, or that it's all bravado, or that it's all I'm better than the next person. That could be your ego perceiving their light, or their light being shined back to you, and you're perceiving it in a negative way because it's irritating your darkness. But even all of this fucking confusion that arises from dealing with other humans, you could save yourself a lot of time by vibrating in your own peaceful energy. And that is what I have always invited y'all to do. I understand that it's something that may be rare for some to live that way, to not think about going out on weekends, to not think about networking and making a bunch of friends, but you'll constantly, from what I've seen and observed and participated in myself, when feeling that you need others for your success, and you just might, depending on your field, but you must understand that not only are you subject to your own human impulses, habits, and programmings, and self-inflicted suffering, but you're also subject to the resonance of others, which is their vibratory state. Their vibratory state from their heart and their mind. The contents of their heart, their aura, their energy, their emotions, how they feel, on top of how they think about these things, how they perceive the world, how they think about others, the agreements and beliefs within their head. 1 plus the 2 creates your aura, and that aura is always felt by another, the law of resonance. So when it comes to living alone, it is something that obviously has pros and cons to it, because living with another has pros and cons to it. You feel another's energy. Now, living in a big house, I've never done it. I've never had a bunch of siblings and family members and people running around. I do have a big family, but medium-sized family. But as far as me returning to my own peace of mind at night, I've always had that. I've always had access to that. I understand that a lot of y'all don't. I understand that some of y'all got roommates, brothers, sisters, moms, dads, this, that. So you're always going to be subject to the energy of another person. The look on their face, their actions, their behaviors, their body language, the energy seeping off of them. Now, I'm going to share with y'all two methods that'll always help you going about in this life. The first method is strengthening your shield, strengthening your auric field. Now, exercises and practices to do this could be something as simple as deep breath. You imagine with your arms, your limbs, you are creating this aura, this auric shield around you. Imagine it being gold, impenetrable by negative energies. You're then shielded off from the negative energies, from the attacks. The deeper you guys get into your psychic ability, into your energy practices, you will see the auras seeping off of people, whether it's a green or a blue positive aura, or whether it's a black, a red, a stale, a gray aura that can almost look like spikes or tentacle energy strands coming off of a person, because the contents of their heart and mind is just that low as far as what they're thinking on a day-to-day, how they're perceiving the world, how they're perceiving themselves within the world, what are the first thoughts that they think when they see a person, whether it's a lustful thought, whether it's a violent thought, or whether it's a fuck you thought. The energy, the aura is always felt. So strengthening your aura through these energy practices, and again, hitting the gym is probably one of the biggest life hacks that we have available to us, as far as always being able to maintain in that peaceful energy, and that peaceful vibration, and that strong, solid, grounded sense of self that we all desire. And second to that, y'all, is a method known as the step aside method. Now, understanding that we are the souls within the shell, we are the us within the body. We control the body. The body is our vessel. The body is our vehicle for expression. We're sovereign, God-given, birth-given right. Now, to step aside in situations where you feel as if your ego is triggered, where you are triggered, where you feel the need or the compulsion to react, you step aside and say to yourself, so what of it? What does it matter? Step aside. So what of it? What does it matter? If it's not real, if it's truly an illusion, if you truly live in the matrix, like I'm sure you said at least once in your life, a simulation, you should understand that the energy attacks, the things people say, the things of this world are essentially not real in your reality unless you allow it to be real. Out of sight, out of mind is a real thing. So to step aside in any given situation is you deflecting the negative energy, not necessarily ignoring it, but accepting and deflecting it. You have to accept that people are the way people are. You have to accept that this world is extremely competitive and aggressive, and the battle between people's higher nature and lower nature is a lot more prominent within them than it probably is within you watching me. Now, that don't mean that your shadow and your darkness is not nasty within itself to those around you, but in comparison to the masses of people, primarily in America, the level of ego entrapment is extremely deep. The level of ego identification is almost all you see. And it's not just the conceited or overly confident person that you may see in your day-to-day, or a harsh person. It could be that self-loathing person. It could be that sad person that's constantly reaffirming why the world is victimizing them and why they're being attacked, by the energies of this plane. And again, personally, I hardly blame anyone. I think over the age of 21 is when I would point to someone and say you've had enough life experience and you're at a point of enough free will and understanding to at least know a percentage of right and wrong, because the actual math of right and wrong has been occulted from our view, has been occulted from our mind, and it's actually not even in the fabric or foundation of our culture. Right action versus wrong action. Now, in a religious culture, it's pushed a little bit more, but in this materialistic world that we live in, founded and constructed and being built by a lot of people that, I'm not gonna make a blanket statement and say that most of the people in this world or most of the main constructors of our society are atheists, but the quote-unquote smartest and the pharmaceutical industry and the scientism industry of space, NASA, physical science, a lot of these guys have an atheistic point of view, and feeling that this world is purely material. Everything started from the Big Bang Theory, so it eradicates the sense of a God and a higher power in this realm. It in turn makes the world more egoic. It in turn makes the world more self-advancement and self-desire first before the common good of another. Now again, I'm not here preaching to y'all. I'm telling y'all objective facts. I'm telling y'all truth and information, as I've done since I got on this camera. But at this point, I'm well aware the differences in the psyches of people and the perspectives and paradigms that everyone lives from. So do what you want to do. Ultimately, you must understand that when you're living from your lower egoic desires and personal goals, you'll always be subject to a more competitive and aggressive world than you would be if you're on the side of raising and elevating the consciousness of humanity, spreading love, spreading an energy of peace and positivity. And it's such a contrast from our innate ways of being on this planet. You know, someone may ask, what is the inherent nature of a person? Is it good or evil? The inherent nature of a person is that they are programmable. Programmed from the parents, programmed from religion, programmed from the society and culture. So nothing's really good or bad within itself. It has to be deemed good or bad. Nothing is really clean or dirty within itself. It has to be deemed clean or dirty. Your mind has only been infiltrated to a point where you call this dirty, but you love dirt, as in appreciating, valuing, and pedestalizing the earth. Perspective is everything. Now, perspective is not reality, is where I see a lot of people get tripped up. They feel as if their perspective is all that is, and all truths are but half truths. So I would have to agree with you. I would have to let you have that. I'm not gonna say you're wrong, but I will also tell you that there's an objective reality of right and wrong and of natural law. So what is a wrong action? In the last video, I explained to y'all what a right action is. I'm gonna do it again in this video, but first I'm gonna explain to y'all what a wrong action is. A wrong action is anything that causes harm to another living sentient being. Now, from a dark Gnostic understanding, like I mentioned to y'all in the last video, the fact that we have to eat in this world in turn makes this reality evil. By that simple gesture that we have to kill a chicken to eat, or slice a fruit and vegetable from its source, from its root, eat it and digest it, is evil under that guideline. Now, the light Gnostic variant is that we live in a energy in a realm, in a plane of perfect equilibrium and perfect natural law. And the natural law is obviously stated in the Kabbalion, the 7 Hermetic Principles that I have invited y'all to read over the past 3 years, 3.5 now. Let's briefly go over the 7 Hermetic Principles. Number 1 is the principle of mentalism. All is mind and the universe is mental. Every single thing that you see out in this world is a projection of your inner reality. Everything out in this world physically manifested, started as a thought, started on the plane of causality, and is now on the plane of effect, in the physical plane, the plane of phenomena. It's here, it's there. It can't be undone. The only way it could be undone is for it to be destroyed. With that being said, your perspective is everything. What you see in this world, what you agree to in your mind, the thoughts in your head, is your perspective, is your reality, is your individual game. So, having that understanding, you should also understand when vibrating throughout this culture that everyone is living within their own game. Now, when 2 or more merge, the game is mixed. The game is taken on to a new level, a new dimension, a new frequency, because 2 worlds have collided. And multiple worlds collide every second of every day. Millions and millions and millions of circumstances. So that in turn gives evidence to the infinite possibilities on this plane of potential energy and what could happen. All is mind and the universe is mental. You have 2 hemispheres of your brain. You have your right hemisphere, which is your creative, nurturing, compassionate, holistic brain view, pattern recognition. You have the left side of your brain, logic, analytical thought, masculine thought, etc., etc. Mathematic thought, not necessarily pattern recognition, but data-based, logic-based. To pair these 2 together, you have holistic, ethical intelligence. Holistic, ethical intelligence, not lacking a balance from either side. Most people on this planet are primarily left brain or primarily right brain, meaning if one side of the brain is doing more of the work, is having more thoughts and energy and more synapses and responses and more activity, then the other side will suffer indefinitely. So a person with a left brain overbalance will be more logical, more masculine, more observing, more calculating, more thinking in a black and white function. A person with the right brain dominant energy will be more creative, less likely to take control of a situation, more likely to follow, more likely to listen, more likely to be subservient and passive. So you want to find within yourself, along with your chakra system, along with your lower nature, along with your darkness, you also want to analyze, which is a left brain modality, to analyze yourself, to analyze your brain activity and see within yourself which side is dominant, which side do you lean toward in most situations. Is it compassionate? Is it 30% right brain, 70% left brain? Is it 80% right brain? Is it 20% left brain? It doesn't necessarily, it doesn't make you a good or bad person either way. Rather, you're a left brain imbalanced individual or a right brain imbalanced individual. All I'm trying to get you to do is understand it within yourself so you can come to a holistic and full and complete intelligence, rather than being an intellectual person that is overly analyzing overly black and white, overly thinking the world should be this way, overly analyzing the right and wrong of every situation, overly analyzing the potential morality of a given situation or a person that is right brain imbalanced, never taking life by the motherfucking horns, never being the person that gets up and wills their reality to their desire. Okay? The mind is all and the universe is mental. Once the two are birthed, once the holistic compassion is brought together, one can vibrate in the energy of holistic intelligence, completion, you could say, from your brain hemispheres. Your actions will be a lot more steady. Your actions, your thoughts, your emotions will be a lot more regulated simply from balancing out your two brain hemispheres. You could do art, you could sing, you could dance, you could loosen your stagnant ass up if you are a left brain imbalanced individual. If you are a right brain imbalanced individual, it'll literally help you by doing math problems. It'll literally help you by solving equations. It'll literally help you by speaking to yourself logically, completing every full sentence to hear and see it back to yourself where you stand as far as your left brain masculine thought patterns. A lot of exercises you could do, but it doesn't serve you at all in this war, in this psychological war, in this mental war, in this game of life that we plan, to have these imbalances present within yourself when you have access to all information. Law 2, as above, so below, the law of correspondence. Everything you see on the microcosm, on the physical world, is a direct reflection of what is above. I mentioned earlier how the ego and the spirit of a person is opposite or directly opposed to each other percentage-wise. They counterbalance, they make up for one another. So the stars in the sky, your astrological makeup, is all encoded into your being, into your spirit, in the ways that you behave, the ways that you think, your natural inclinations to do, your dislikes, your likes, your ways of being, your preferences is all somewhat encoded within you. All of your thoughts and energy, your prayers, what you feed to your mind, what you say to yourself, what you say to the world is essentially getting shot up to the ethers, to the realm of infinite, to the realm of God, and it's manifesting. So you're becoming the person that you're becoming. You're becoming whatever it is that you say you're becoming, because not only is the mind all, but your spirit is then downloaded and acted upon from the programming is given in this physical world. Number 3, the law of vibration. Every single thing, every single physical thing on this planet is vibrating. From the state of death or decay, it's still a state of vibration. It never stops. But above that, you have the plane of life, the physical. Above that, you have the plane of the mental. And above that, you have the plane of the spirit, the etheric realm, where the vibration is higher, so high that it's not seen. Etheric energy is not seen, but it's ubiquitous. It's here nonetheless. It surrounds us. It's here for us to use and pull from at all times. So your vibratory state, your emotions, start obviously the lowest of the low emotions: guilt, fear, depression, anger, sadness, envy, all the way to the highest vibrations of love, peace, gratitude, freedom. Everything within that, a scale. So I think it's fun to vibrate on the higher scale, the higher spectrum of these emotions. A lot of people in this world simply cannot. It's not within their accessibility to get to these levels because they've been living in a state of fear, been living in a state of survival, been living in a state of fight or flight and reaction and defense. And again, you can sense these vibrations. The law of resonance is the law that allows you to feel what another person is putting down. You're picking up what their heart is saying. I feel him. No, I don't feel her on that. That's your heart sensing their heart and the contents of their mind. Now, your mind is not just your brain. Your mind is really your heart plus your brain. It creates mind, brain, heart, brain, intelligence equals your mind. Now, again, for all of that to be in cooperation and in harmony is what you want to then vibrate and surf along the laws and frequencies and rhythms of this place. Makes it a lot easier than going against the grain. And that takes us to law number 4, the law of polarity. This law states that every single thing on this planet has a flip side, has a flip polarity, similar to as above, so below, the state of vibration. Dull is opposite to sharp, soft is opposite of hard, cold is opposite of hot, but they're not opposites. They're one and the same, on the same pole, the same spectrum. There is no fast and hard division to be made between what is hot and what is cold, because something is always colder further down the scale. Something is always hotter above the scale of vibration. So this understanding at its base will hold you back from arguing, understanding that all truths are but half truths, understanding that every perspective is mirrored by a counter perspective that is equally right and a perspective that is equally wrong, and someone on another side of the world that equally deems one action moral and one action immoral. That is the laws of polarity. That is why you don't argue. That is why you don't give a fuck what the fuck is going on this planet. Me personally, my level of compassion within my heart chakra has blown out to such a rate that I feel for this world to an extreme degree, because of the way I live and vibrate on a day-to-day, simply from work, simply from putting in work, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, to get myself here. And understanding that the evils in this world, the evils of culture that stop human beings from living in a peaceful, harmonious energy of solitude, is the most fucked up thing on the planet. It is the most fucked up thing on the planet. There's something to it, man. I'm gonna try not to seep too down. And again, my lower nature, my love for humanity, my compassion for humanity, my want to see others free and happy and peaceful and living with purpose, not afraid, not scared, not under my control. But damn, it is what it is, I guess. Boom, the 5th law, the law of rhythm, understanding that all things have a rhythmic flow. The pendulum swing is manifested the same from the right to the left is the pendulum swing manifested. So when you're going through some emotional things, when you're feeling away, when you're sad, even when you feel yourself getting sad, it is up to you to neutralize your state, to neutralize your emotional state, and not let that rhythmic swing of emotions from worldly events, from worldly energies, from people that are affecting you in a way that is making you feel the way that you feel. Understanding that the seasons have a rhythmic tide to them. We are in the winter season right now. The sun is furthest away from us right now in America. Of course, other lands are warmer, but the rhythmic swing of the heat of the higher vibration will come back around. The energies of the people will change. Your emotional state will change. Your outlook on life will change once you see the sun, once you see the energy, the sunny energy, the spring, the flowers, the blooming. Right now, we're in a season of rest. We're close to the winter solstice. This is the time of the groundhog. This is the time to go within. This is the time to allow your ego to fall and shed the things that are not useful. Shed the energy and the people that are not useful going into the new capitalistic calendar year so you can get your coin, so you can get your bread, if that's what you desire. Law 6, cause and effect. Again, I mentioned how the plane of the mental is the plane of causality, and everything that is birthed or manifested from the mental, from the birth of your left brain thoughts with your right brain thoughts, is then birthed into your reality, your state, and your environment where you live. You can look around yourself right now and see if your reality is more left brain logical based, and if your left brain been fucking the shit out of your right brain and birthing a bunch of logical, mathematic, masculine energy and shit into your world, or if your right brain has been overly sexualizing your left brain and you are living in potentially a state of lower nature, not in a negative way, but your desires and your day-to-day and your wants are feminine. The energy, the things that you possess of pleasure, of the woman, of the dark. Cause and effect. Everything has a cause, invariably. Nothing in this world is without cause. No effect, no physical phenomenon, no person, no way of being, no personality, no energy, no voice, no situation, no person, no religion, no thought, no construct, no car, no street, no book, no anything is without the causal factor behind it. You are aligning with a certain frequency, the cause and effect. Nothing on this planet can be manifested without the proper time and attention, your two spiritual currencies, put into whatever you want to manifest and bring about in your life. Cause and effect. Law 6, Law 7. The law of gender. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Everything is birthed from a percentage of masculine energy, thought, vibration, and a percentage of feminine energy, thought, and vibration. Everything around you, everything that you see. Every person, every man, every woman, all having traces of each within them, within their psyche, within their brain, within their actions, within their speech. So that base understanding should allow you to ground and root yourself within the duality of this world. Your higher self, your lower self, your feminine, your masculine, your logical, your creative, your analyzing, your receptive, your outputting. All of these traits of the masculine and the feminine aspect of a person, of this world. Why are you upset? Why are you taking things personal? Why is your ego offended at this completely fair, logical, explainable, and under a banner of equilibrium realm that we live in? I would say that you're upset because you maybe do not understand the ways and the functions of this world, but it's here for you to understand. You're upset and confused and ignorant and fearful because you do not understand the ways of this world. You do not understand the dynamics and the rhythmic flows and swings of what goes on, of what happens, of how things happen, of how things were created, of how you were created. And who's to say what's what? Who's to say what is plain fact and what's not, as far as the creation of this world, as far as the ancient mythologies and teachings and understandings from different cultures around this world? What you must understand first and foremost is that your mind is all and the universe is mental. Your perspective, the things that you see, the people that you want to know, the people that you want to be around, that is your reality. That is what you're chasing. That is your desire internally. No one else knows it to the degree that you know it. No one else understands it to the degree that you understand it. No one wants it to the degree that you want what you want. So it helps. It helps to walk around with a base understanding and acceptance of what this game of life is down here in this physical 3D realm, subject to the energies, the attacks of not only people with harsh intentions, but the demons and the archons stated throughout Gnosticism and the Bible and the Quran, the jinn, the spirits that are here to influence you and root you in your insecure, fearful, scarcity mindset. The demons, the spirits, the jinn that are here to root you in your fearful, insecure, scarcity mindset. Y'all, this is by far the most important understanding when you begin to feel the negative thoughts creep in, when you begin to feel the doubt and the lack and the fear and the temptation kick in for you to go against what you have already agreed to be true and right in your reality, in your mind. Understand that it is an influence, influencing you to be a human, not a god, not an individual that goes their own way, in control of their reality, not an individual fully generating, organizing, and destroying that which they want and don't want, influencing you to be stagnant, influencing you to be still, influencing you to turn on your discipline, influencing you to relax your principles, be the god of your reality, control your shit, control your shit, and your actions and your behaviors and your thoughts and your speech. Understand that culture is also put in place for you to be dumbed down and subservient. This education system is not income-based. It is not holistic-based. It is not motherfucking love-based. This education system is outcome-based. This education system is put in place for you to be a worker, for you to be an earner, for you to be an egoic identifier with titles and numbers. Is that what you want for yourself, for your family, for the future generations of Earth? I don't know. Maybe it is. If that's you, that's cool too, because I'm all for your personal happiness. There is nothing wrong with working a job for the rest of your life if you find that peace of mind and contentment within your reality. If you can come home and smoke weed and paint and drink wine and wake up and go to work the next day and go to the gym and meet people and have fun and align on a frequency and vibrate and be a loving, caring individual within your family, you are a godsend on this fucked up planet. Understand that. And with that being said, y'all, I'm gonna end this video. I love y'all, and may you never relax your principles.